Right. You're right.
Let's go.
All right, what's going on, party people? Popping in for another episode of Pop Talk. This is your man, Professor Nims. I'm signing on with the Casual Rand
What up, though?
and Boston Jared.
What up?
Don't forget the S. And we want to make sure before we go any further that you do like and subscribe. We are on the push for the 4 digits. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
and
You get
everything.
close.
So
We had
make
8
sure-
yet?
Yeah, no, not quite, but we're up there. But at the same time, once we get to that mark, it's going to be a lot easier to grow our audience, and we need y'all to be able to do that. So make sure that you like and subscribe. Doesn't cost anything, and it only takes about a second of your time. But we're going to jump in just for a quick segment this week, and we want to weigh in on the Alexander Usyk controversy in his stoppage win over Daniel Dubois. So for those of you who are able to watch the fight, and I'm sure that at this point, if you're a boxing fan, if you're tuning in, that you are aware of what went on during this fight. So Alexander Usyk was able to secure a 9th round TKO victory over Daniel Dubois. But the real controversy happened in the 5th round, where he was dropped by what was determined by the referee to be a low blow. So, but that's where the controversy kind of stops. Say that again,
yeah, I said it was marginal. It really depends. There's so many different pictures floating out there on the internet, man. You talk to one guy, he got a picture where the punch is like perfectly on the belt line. The pictures that I saw, most of the pictures that I saw, it shows half of Dubois' glove on the belt line and the other half is below the belt line. And apparently, according to the rule book, this is according to Carl Froch, who actually read on shout out to Carl Froch in his podcast. He actually read the Queensberry rules on his show. And it's like, hey, this is the fucking rules. And if it's anywhere below the belt or on the belt below the belt line, it's considered to be a low blow. And there was certainly enough of the glove below the belt line to have it considered to be a low blow. To me, I was going to ask you if we got pictures. There are pictures out there that show that show the punch exactly where it was. That being said, I will say this: if that referee had started counting as if that were a legit knockdown, I have no doubt that Usyk would have popped right the fuck back up. Yeah, I don't think.
Let's go back to the Queensberry kind of rule. So it states that anything that is under the belly button is considered like so. Or is it so? If it's on the belt line, is that considered a legal blow? Or because the shots that I've seen, that the majority of the glove was on the belt line, and then when I saw it in live action, I didn't. So if anybody who saw it, who was watching the fight, your Usyk back was turned, to it, so you couldn't really see it. But when I saw the way that his body kind of like moved, and I remember thinking that, so I first reacted to Usyk's. And then his gesticulations, throughout there, and I was like, okay, so that was a low blow. But then when they showed the replay, I was like, man, that that looks like that was right, like I'm saying, at the belt line. Which
I said the same thing when I saw it when I first saw it. So,
I remember when I kind of reacted, and then a lot of our interpretation of it was just based off of Usyk's kind of reaction, right? So he's just kind of like he kind of turned away in a non-defensive type of mode to say that, right, something illegal has happened. And I think the referee didn't even have an opportunity to make his determination if that was illegal or an illegal blow, because that was kind of taken out of his hands because of the way that Usyk reacted.
Even on top of that, man, the theatrics afterwards, man, it's just I've never seen a ref just go above and beyond to make sure Usyk had every second of time afforded to him. Even when the fighter was telling him, "I'm ready," I'm like, "Nah, go sit down, put your feet up, relax."
I mean, you get 5 minutes to recover. So
Yeah,
Yeah,
but when the fighter
but to
says
his
he's
point,
ready,
yeah, I
when,
mean, everybody knows that, but have you ever seen where a fighter says that, okay, I'm ready to go, and he was just like, no, like, take your time. You got more
yeah,
minutes to do that. I've never seen that before.
I've never seen that.
I mean, the nigga was hurt. You get to 5 minutes. The
No,
ref
I'm
said,
saying
No, it
Usyk
was.
came back and said, "I'm ready to go," and the judge was like, "Nah, go sit down, man,
For the
relax, go
ref,
get a
not the
massage."
judge. Yeah.
I just sent the link, a Yahoo Sports link with the picture that I have been seeing that's been most prolific on the internet. I'm not sure if we're able to bring this shit up, but if you're able to show the picture that's being shown on Yahoo Sports, you will see that it is a borderline shot. I mean, part of the glove is on the belt, part of the glove is clearly below the belt line, right? So to me, it really wasn't that. I mean, to me, like, look, it was a borderline shot. The ref has a split second to make the call, right? He doesn't have the benefit of replay. At least he didn't that night. We've seen other commissions, they do instant replay for certain instances. The unified champion got the benefit of the doubt for the call. I mean, to me, it's such a non-issue to me. Like, I don't really even understand why this was a controversy. Did you get the link I sent in the chat?
Yeah, it was. I couldn't get it to blow up that big. I did find something similar to it. I'm gonna share my screen. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, look, I'm not sure why this was such a big issue. To me, it was kind of indicative of how slow of a week it's been. Slow. The post, it's like the post Crawford post. That's a bad angle. That's because if you look at the angle of the shot that I have, you said you couldn't blow the other shot up.
It wouldn't let me. Let me go back to
All right, well, just pull it up and see. Let the viewers see if the viewers will be able to go to the Yahoo Sports link and check for themselves. Because that angle right there, again, it does look like it is right on the belt from that angle. But if you look at another angle,
yeah. So like if I double, but I'll pull it up. So if I
pull it up,
that one, what I
and
did was
show.
double click the picture and then it blew it up. This one it doesn't allow me, but I'll share.
Yeah, share that image. Wow, that's big enough. Look at how much of his glove is below his belt.
I mean, that's the same.
I'm about to
I
go
mean,
scroll down, Cam, because we can only see the headline.
Oh, you can.
Yeah. Scroll down to the scroll.
Like,
Can you not scroll?
scroll up. Yeah, it's not moving. Also,
No, it's not.
it doesn't move after I share. Hold on.
Oh damn! Fucking Zoom, huh?
Mhm.
Anyway, look. Hey, the point
we
is,
get the point. Let's go.
yeah, the point is, the shit was borderline, right? Leave it right there. Leave it right there. Look at how much of this glove. You look at where the markings are on Dubois' glove. All of that shit is below the belt. There's at least half of his glove that's below the belt. Right now, I don't know where the referee is to make the call, because I don't know if to me, if the referee is not blocking this shot, he shouldn't be able to see this angle, which is another interesting point. Yeah, look,
To me, I've always looked at low blows as something that is, if it's in the cup area, right? If it's pushing your cup, if it's your cup, if it's pushing your cup up, that's how I've always looked at it. And there was even a segment before the fight where they talked about his coach talked to the referee about how Usyk wears his shorts. And then not only that, but Usyk.
How does Usyk wear his shorts?
What they said
There's a Tyson Fury meme after that where Tyson Fury got his shorts up to his neck saying,
Tyson Fury need to shut the fuck up and go fight his carnival fights. Because if you look at the
it's still funny.
at the
It's still
beginning of the first round,
I think the whole boxing community is still, feeling some kind of way about this call. And the way it's a two-pronged event. The actual punch and then how the referee like treated it afterwards. So that like people are salty about the punch, but then people get saltier about how the referee like put the kids' gloves on Usyk and made sure that he was 110% before and got the whole 5 minutes before they started back. So now we can move this conversation along to after the punch. Let's talk about how Usyk responded.
So let's talk about. So one of the things is that Usyk he doesn't like getting hit to the body. So even throughout the whole fight, the guy was complaining. The guy,
he was. Yes, he was.
Anytime that there was a blow to his body, he's sitting there looking at the referee, and the referee did not see anything that was agreed. And this was a referee that seemed to be kind of siding with the champion. He seemed like that he was getting tired of Usyk complaining. And then, but at the same time, there was definitely a game plan for Dubois to work towards the body. Only time that we've actually seen him hurt in fights throughout his history, even against Anthony Joshua, was to the body. And then for the fact where anytime you throw to his body, the guy sitting there complaining and looking at the referee, that kind of sets a tone. It kind of sets a negative tone. I'm glad that Daniel Dubois didn't deviate from the game plan because of Usyk's actions. Like, I didn't think he comported himself in a very kind of championship kind of manner. But I mean, there's something right. We've all seen the Andrew Galata versus Riddick Bowe. I mean, those blatant kind of egregious type of fouls. Part of it, I think that, I mean, it was borderline. It was close. But part of me feels that Usyk just does not like getting hit to the body. I don't know if he doesn't train there.
I mean, I don't know anybody that likes getting hit to the body. So, I mean,
but that whines and complains to that effect.
I mean, Canelo complains all the time in fights. He complains. I mean, look, if Usyk thought he was getting hit low legitimately, or he was getting hit to the body and he was trying to negate the body work of Dubois, I don't know. I do agree that he was a bit whiny in the fight. We saw him complaining. And he complained from shots that, I thought were might have been legal. But look, afterwards he got up and he whipped that nigga's ass. And the outcome of this fight only reinforces that Daniel Dubois is as soft as baby shit. I never ever want to see Daniel Dubois fight again. The only reason, Look, I mean, this nigga, he got jabbed to death. There were a couple of slapping hooks that I saw. Usyk really did not look good in this fight. Were y'all blown? I mean, were y'all blown away by Usyk at all? Didn't he kind of underperform to y'all?
Well, I thought that I thought a little bit of the opposite. I thought that Daniel Dubois showed me a little bit more. For one is, I thought that Usyk, with his footwork and just his kind of mastery of distance and all those other things, I thought he would just really, really seriously outclass Daniel Dubois.
Well, I mean, which he did.
He did, yeah. But what I did see was, I saw a couple of straight right hands that froze Usyk. And I know you saw those this time from y'all remember that? Like, basically, like I'm not saying that Daniel Dubois kind of took advantage of that opportunity, but I saw a couple of straight right hands that stunned Usyk and just kind of froze him for a second. And I thought that before Daniel Dubois really just kind of succumb or just, and we'll talk about this. I want to see if y'all thought that he quit in the fight. Is that I didn't see. I thought that he was going to be dominant. Well, actually, go to my pundit pick. I was a little upset because I was really close. I was the only one that picked a TKO. I picked the 10th round TKO. It was a 9th round. It probably should have been a 9th round TKO because that it was a stiff jab. I mean, I'll give it to him, but it was still a jab that ultimately put Daniel Dubois down for the last time. And then from what I heard is that he was ready, was good to go, but he was looking at his corner, and his corner told him to, take the extent of the time. And then he got up at 9, and the fact that he got up that late, the referee, who I wasn't impressed by what his job, and his referee was Pabon. I wasn't impressed by him at all. I think that he should, get some low marks for his performance in the fight. But so, I mean, what do y'all think about the notion that Daniel Dubois ultimately kind of quit in the fight?
He just didn't throw his hands enough. I mean, like throughout the whole fight, the first 5 rounds, he was trying to establish his jab, but after that, after the low blow, Usyk just pretty much took over, and you can hear his corner saying, "Tell him Dubois to be first," and then he wouldn't, and then he was just eating it.
It's tough to be first when you're slower than a guy. Usyk was much, much quicker. Speed of hand and speed of feet. Usyk, one thing, and quietly, Usyk's 37 now, going up on 38? Something like that. Let me look here. Usyk has still got very, very, very quick feet.
But it's the old adage, and
he's 36.
Guys preach all the time: styles make fights. Like he's fighting big, prodding heavyweights that don't move, come straight forward, and it's going to be way slower than a cruiserweight. So he's going to be much faster. He's going to look like he's running around in circles with these guys, man. But I still, I don't want to jump the gun, but I still say a dedicated Fury has the footwork and speed to take care of Usyk.
Yeah, probably. I think that we all would have had Fury beating Usyk prior to the Dubois fight. Yeah. There was nothing that happened in this fight that made me say, "Ooh, Usyk would win," or "Ooh, Usyk was definitely going to lose." That was one of the things I heard after this fight, was somehow this fight was proof that Fury would have beaten Usyk, and that's not how boxing works, ladies and gentlemen. Styles make fights, and until Fury signs that contract and gets in there and beat Usyk, it's still a fight at once. It's for undisputed in the division. It's still a fight that needs to happen, right? Fury doesn't have an excuse to hold the division up and go fight carnival fights because Dubois controversially may or may not have dropped him in the fight. Like, come on, man, that's nonsense.
Yeah, but I know it's about the money though. So, but him,
Really,
he done retired 3-4 times, and if the Saudis are willing to pay him $50 million to go fight this wrestler,
don't hold the division up though. He said
it doesn't matter. But like, listen,
the WWF,
they will pay. If Tyson Fury right now wanted to go fight one of these YouTubers or something like that, he can go. But that's not the case. If you are a boxer and you care about this sport and the history and legacy, and like you say, it's about the money. But if it's about the money, then retire and then just fight these exhibitions fight. You can make $30 or $40 million about that.
Right.
It's not about give up the belt. Then don't it can't be just about the money, because you can go and fight these clowns.
You telling somebody, you know what I'm saying, to give up their belt. It just ain't.
Well, yeah, I mean, it has then it has to be something. So it's not about the money, then, right?
No, it's about the money.
I mean, it is, right? But
you don't need the belt to get the money, so give up the belt. You
But
don't have
even
to go
if,
to
I
get
mean,
that money.
but even if he fights, he fights Ngannou, and then the fight with Usyk is still there for the early next year.
But he holding the division up though. That's the thing. We should
But
have been had
do
this
you
fight.
think? Do
Should have
you
been
think
had.
they can? You think the champions
No, no,
that got
no.
the
Well, that's what Cam. I think that's what Cam is getting at, right? I mean,
Yeah,
there's
I understand what he's
the
hitting at, but
sanctioning
I'm
body
just
should be
playing devil's
stepping in and saying
advocate.
something.
That if the sanctioning bodies don't put their foot down across the board, you can't put your foot down against Fury and then let Charlo slide or let another Canelo slide when he
They
get
did
the
it
heat
with
up.
Devin Haney. They made Devin Haney. They stripped Haney essentially.
But
And the
you see
WBO is
who
stripping Charlo.
they picking and choosing though. So
Right. That's what they. But they're already doing that, right? Fury
yeah,
is
so
not
I mean,
some.
so therefore, I mean, we can't make a we can make an argument, but when they keep doing it, it's just like they just saying fuck you. We making it, and then now they trying to do it with Teofimo.
Well, the thing is, what Fury has working on in his advantage is he only holds one belt, right? Usyk, the pressure is all on Usyk to defend his 3 belts, right? Fury has got one belt, and it's the WBC.
Usyk has no issues with doing that. So if you were,
Yeah, I mean, but Fury gets to fight an MMA fighter with no professional experience in a title fight and reap all the rewards that come with that. And Usyk has got to fight for a fraction of that against presumably tougher opposition.
He
like,
care about that, man. That fight is a farce. It is a clown thing. It's bad. It's bad for the sport, and it's something that you know. I mean, there's a reason why boxing is losing its popularity among the actual fighters, and then why these kind of YouTube. It's like people, you know, they like carnage. If there's gonna be 2 people that's getting the ring who are well known that are gonna beat on each other, they're gonna go watch it. What we have to do is preserve the sanctity of the sport, and where we only really support the top level athletes doing this, because guys are getting in the ring and beat each other up. If you get them like $20 or $30 million, what we need to do is like not support that and really give it to people who have dedicated and make it an actual sport. The stuff that they are doing now, that is not sporting. That is that Diaz versus that Paul or whatnot. That was not sporting. Like, these are not 2 high-level athletes, you know, at the top of the game fighting. And it's just, if not, then, you know, there's no reason why Crawford should even fight a Spence or anything like that, because the only reason we care about that fight is because these are not particularly popular people, or, you know, just kind of in the you know, internet stratosphere. But
you're talking about Spence Crawford?
Yeah, Spence Crawford. But we know that they are the top, highest level of that art in that sport. And then that's why that's important. And then that's why Fury fighting somebody who is a debutante coming into the ring, it's a farce of a fight. I don't care what Frank Warren says.
Nah, well, we not disagreeing with you, but, you know, like Randy said, you know, money talks and bullshit runs the marathon in the worlds of Nino Brown. The Saudis are putting up money. Aren't the Saudis putting the money up for this?
Yeah, the Saudis putting up the money.
They putting up a fucking ton of money, man. So it's tough. The Saudis are kind of fucking the game up, man, because they putting up money for fights like this. And you said what?
They fucking a lot of sports up. But look, hold on. Take Fury out of this now, the equation right now. So what's next for Usyk?
Let's pull up boxing scene here and let's see who's next, because he gotta defend, because he's got the 3 belts.
I think the second biggest fight is Wilder.
Dude, he could fight. He could go and knock out Jared Anderson. He can go and fight.
Why would he fight? Hold on, why would he fight Wilder?
I'm just saying, because everybody wants to like bring him up because they were fighting on that same weekend. He can go and fight Wilder. He can fight the winner of Joe Joyce versus
Daly Zhang. Now there we go. Now that's a fight that makes a little bit more sense. Now, interestingly enough,
only one that you mentioned that was mandatory, or the next one in line is Wilder. The rest of them, I bet you Hergovic going to get the shot next.
Well, Wilder is number 1 in the WBA, right? Yep. And Dubois lost. So Wilder becomes, you would think, Wilder gets elevated maybe to that super champ, or the WBA might order some sort of eliminator between him and Martin Bakole, because Andy Ruiz wants fucking 10, 15, $20 million to fight Wilder, and Al and friends don't seem inclined to want to pay him. There is Hergovic. That's an interesting fight. You do that fight in Germany. Hergovic is what, Serbian or something like that? That's a nice little scrap. You do that fight in Eastern Europe, not Eastern Europe. So call it. Do that fight in Berlin or some shit like that. Germany somewhere. That fight does good numbers.
Yeah, so he's Croatian.
He's Croatian. Perfect. Do that fight in Germany. The Ukrainians will show up. The Croatians will show up. That's a decent little fight out in Europe. Quiet as kept. That's a nice little fight, because the rest of these fights, with the exception of Wilder, right? With the exception of Wilder, the rest of these fights don't really move the needle. Zhang is fighting Joyce in a rematch, right? And Fury is off fighting circus fights. So
exactly. I mean, and like that's the point, because the truth be told, this is a heavyweight champion, and he could go and fight one of these kind of gimmick fights and make a whole bunch of money for a lot less risk and stuff.
Who can?
Usyk.
I don't know if anybody's interested in watching Usyk fight. Nobody's interested.
If Jake Paul goes and says, "I'm going to fight the heavyweight champion right now," Usyk and stuff like that, you don't think people are going to go and watch it? What's that again?
Hypothetically, I wasn't thinking Jake Paul. I was okay. Maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. Maybe
if Jake Paul goes and says, "I'm fighting Alexander Usyk," nobody's going to go. What are you talking about?
The interesting part there would be, because Usyk has all 3 belts. I don't know how you would sanction a fight like that. The WBC,
because you remember the WBC was like, hey, if Jake Paul was to beat.
Randy, your goddamn audio that went out. Jesus Christ.
We didn't hear
Randy, your audio's gone.
We can't hear you, Randy.
But yeah, what's the call? Now, Cam, was that me or that's Randy?
That's Randy.
That's an echo I got. But now, you might be right, Cam. I don't know. Usyk, Logan Paul. I don't even want to put that energy out into the fucking atmosphere.
I know, I don't even want to say stuff like that because I'm getting an echo now. But I don't want to say that because they'll propel that fight and do that. Like that is a ridiculous notion.
Man, why are we getting crazy echoes?
I don't know. Let me see if I cut off somebody's audio.
Cut Randy's. Randy, mute your mic. Test. Yeah, that's you, Randy. No, it's not. No, shit. I don't know what's going on. Let me mute myself.
Hello? All right, seems to be working now, but it just that for some reason we're getting feedback, so it's catching our audio it's catching our input into your output and then putting it back out. And I guess we should be able to talk each with us not being on mute. But so if I unmute you, Boston.
Test.
Are you good to go? All right.
That's bizarre. Oh, damn, that's bizarre. I don't know how the hell that happened.
Oh,
there you go again. As soon as Randy went on.
Yeah, it's something wrong with Randy. I think you got two different inputs, Randy. Every time that I mute you, and then when you unmute, stop unmuting yourself, Randy. Every time that I mute you, we're good to go. But you got two different inputs going on, Randy. So that's why it's causing that.
At any rate, fucking Usyk got to do all the heavy lifting, quote unquote, in the division. Tyson Fury can sit back and fight Francis Ngannou, and Usyk has got to. Hergrovich, look, I watched her
like to be the next. Yeah, I mean, what are your thoughts on him?
I watched Hergrovich, Zhilei Zhang, and look, I'm not really impressed by any of these heavyweights, to be honest with you. Hergrovich does not blow me away. I picked Usyk to beat Hergrovich, but Hergrovich is certainly a bigger threat to Usyk than Ngannou is to Fury, right?
Yeah, of course. I mean, but that is, I mean, it seems almost kind of silly to even make up that kind of. You're talking about somebody who has never had one professional fight, and then let's talk about Deontay Wilder. Why are we not talking about that fight?
Well, because Wilder seems to be stuck in this Anthony Joshua fucking vortex, right? I don't think Wilder really has any interest in going directly after Usyk. I think he feels as though he can make more money fighting Joshua. As a matter of fact, the last news I saw on Wilder was that he was trying to negotiate a 2-fight deal with Joshua. So it seems like Wilder is not interested in fighting Usyk. So yeah, I'm not so sure that we're gonna see Wilder. I'm not so sure we're gonna see Wilder Usyk, man.
Yeah, I mean, I wish that was next though, because then they'll force. And I don't think Fury wants to see that either, because if Wilder win, it'll force a Wilder Fury 4, and I don't think any of.
Oh, there ain't no forcing no Wilder Fury 4. Ain't nobody.
I mean,
ain't nobody
if that's what it lines up for, if Wilder were to beat Usyk, what would you do? In the boxing,
if you were Fury, I would fucking drop the belt, retire, drop the belt, and keep fighting circus fights. These MMA guys have been getting paid peanuts and fucking Cracker Jacks to choke and then knee and kick the hell out of each other. I'd be lining up. If I were a heavyweight
that's the issue. Cameron looks at it from one different angle, but one of the real angles is the MMA fighters don't get paid shit. So they're always going to reach out to a boxer and be like, hey, this is going to be a payday for me. I'm gonna whoop your ass, and they know there's no way in hell the MMA fighter is gonna beat a real boxer in the boxing ring.
There we go, John Jones Fury.
No, that John Jones
that's clown. This is clown stuff.
Ngannou fight's gonna be.
Well, I'm just saying, if we get Usyk Wilder, which it does not look like it's even feasible at this point, right? Wilder beats Usyk and tries to force the issue to become undisputed against Fury. Fury's not taking that fight. Fury drops the belt, or he goes off and fights another circus fight. And I think John Jones would be more than willing to step up and take that fight. I don't want to put it out in the atmosphere, but I'm just saying, if Ngannou
John Jones is not even
free from his contract though, right? Ngannou got out of his UFC contract. So John Jones still in that contract. That fight can't happen. So
no. That fight will. John Jones only got one fight left, and that's against Miocic, right? Stipe Miocic. And then,
Miocic, maybe. I don't know.
But what's so
I'm with Cam though. I don't want to put that in the atmosphere. Cam's right.
What's so sad about your whole premise is the WBC is still going to let if Wilder gets all of Usyk's belts, Fury is just going to hold on that belt for at least a year and a half, and then drop it. So we're talking like 2025 before there can be a unification.
Now, I mean, for one thing,
Yeah.
we're assuming that Wilder is going to win, but at the same time, we've got some up and coming heavyweights. Nobody has to kind of kowtow to Tyson Fury if he wants to go out and be a client. If he doesn't want to be a real fighter and do that, nobody, just let him stay on that island out there. There are other fights that can be made. There's Wilder can fight Anthony Joshua, which would do massive numbers. What's that?
If they don't force him to drop the belt, these fights, them lower fights, the younger fighters aren't going to fight themselves because they're going to be like, yo, if I hold out, I can get a Fury fight. Or if I hold out, I can get a Usyk fight.
There's still 3 belts, though. That's the difference between Fury is not holding up the division, right? He's only holding up 1 belt. If Usyk continues to fight his mandatories, the division moves on, right? Fury only has 25% of the belts, right? So I would prefer that he got stripped, but honestly, he don't stop the show from going on, right?
Yeah, and at some point, if they're gonna be a legitimate sanctioning body, they're gonna have to strip him. And then if he does, then he becomes forgotten. Let him do his clown show over there, but let the real boxers and people who care about the sport, let them fight each other.
To be fair, Charlo still has a belt and he hasn't fought anybody, right? Fury is at least Fury has Jamal. Jamal hasn't fought anybody in over 2 years and they haven't stripped him. Fury has at least defended his belt within the last year against Dillian White, and he's putting on a fight that does big bucks. He's doing way more for the WBC than Jamal Charlo is.
Yeah, Charlo's a little bit different. Yeah, Charlo is a little bit different of an argument. Yeah, and
what's the different argument?
What I was saying is that I haven't really been versed on the middleweight. The middleweight, which used to be the glamour division, has kind of become this kind of lost division.
You ain't gotta be versed, Cam. Just pull up BoxRec. When's the last time Jamal Charlo fought?
No, it's been going on 2 years.
Right. So how can you with a straight face strip Fury when he's putting on multi-million-dollar fights at the very least? I'm just looking at it from a business standpoint. How do you with a straight face go to Fury and be like, hey, Fury, man, you gotta fight somebody who we gonna strip you? And Jamal Charlo can just sit on this couch and hold that belt.
The only retort is to say to strip Charlo. I don't see how that's a defense of what Fury is doing. It's just that if they're both in the wrong, then they both need to be treated accordingly.
Fair enough.
The WBO or WBC is not going to do anything because this fight with Ngannou is going to be like $100 million fight, and then they get their 20% from that. So
is it 20? Damn.
Whatever percentage. The sanction they got the sanctioning fees. So it's like
3% or something.
I was gonna say, I think it's 20.
So 3%, 20%, 3% of $50 million, $100 million is more than 3% of
zero, which is what you're getting from fucking Jamal Charlo.
But that's a big difference, yeah.
So and then not to switch the subject, but you see who's Charlo training with right now?
Oh, Roy Jones. I saw that shit.
I was like, that's a guaranteed loss.
We need to. No, don't bring that up.
That's a guaranteed loss.
We need to save that for next week because ain't shit going on in boxing right now. These YouTube niggas is out here talking about Terrence Crawford, Spence negotiations and shit. The hedge funds and BLK Prime and shit. That's how bad it is right now, man. This shit's crazy out here. What else we got, guys? I gotta dip out, man. I think we don't we already behind the news cycle on this.
I think that's it. But right now it's still and it's kind of a carry on from what we did last week, Boston, when you were in round. We were just kind of talking about the heavyweight division and are we looking at the depth of the heavyweight division? This is I think it's at a precarious moment in this sporting history because I don't see people necessarily caring about. It used to be that boxing went where the heavyweights took us, and I'm not sure people are even caring about the heavyweights at this point.
Well, if they make Deontay Wilder Andy Ruiz, that can change a lot of that. I think that fight will have that fight will come with a significant enough buzz to reinvigorate people's interest in the division. Yeah, I look, there's something to that, and I was able to go back and listen to the show while I was away, and yeah, the death of the division might be a little hyperbolic, but it's definitely hit. It definitely went from a real high to definitely a very very much of a low point, right? At the height of Wilder Fury 3, I think you see that all the interest in the heavyweight division was higher than it had been in a very very long time. And then when Usyk came in and beat Joshua to become a unified champion, again, not as big as Wilder Fury, but definitely a significant fight. And now you're seeing the division has gone from that high point to, like I said, very, very much of a low point. So death of the division, maybe not so much, but definitely division has definitely taken several steps back from where it was
I mean, just
18 months.
yeah,
Whatever,
no, just recently,
years ago, something like
18
that.
months ago. But yeah, Casual Randy, you have anything to kind of conclude on this? You know, I'm just disappointed. I love the sport. I care about the future of the sport and where it goes. And I mean, I do sit from the comfort of my my living room and kind of talk about what these heavyweights should be doing. But we are the fans that do support them. And then so if we, I feel that if you don't want to be the heavyweight champion, or if you don't want to have that responsibility of the crown, heavy is the head that wears the crown, then just give it up. Let these other guys. I give credit to people like Deontay Wilder. He could easily get into these gimmick fights and stuff, but he seems to be at some point still want to be representing boxing, and being a heavyweight champion. And even with Usyk, I give Usyk credit. Tyson Fury, I'm disappointed in his actions. Even after that, fighting Derek Chisora, that was a kind of a gimmick fight. I might even defend him a little bit. But I mean, those are that doesn't seem to me that somebody who was interested in fighting the best and proving that they are the best.
I mean, I think you're going a little hard, and I don't want to prolong this debate, but you can't go hard on Fury for fighting Chisora when Wilder fought what's the dude who got
Hellenius?
Yeah, Hellenius.
Yeah, Hellenius. So I mean, it's the same. To me, that's the same fight.
Really, no. Listen, let me give context before we end there. You had one fighter who had suffered 2 losses in a row. Not only that, 2 knockout losses in a row. The last one he was laid out face first, and this was somebody who had retired from the sport and was coming back. That's different from a heavyweight champion who's undefeated and who's at the top of his game, just fighting somebody who would declare it as a friend as a way to just give him a paycheck. At that
time it was during the debates with Usyk, and then that fight fell through, and then he was just like, all right, I'm just gonna fight him. You remember that's what happened with that fight. That's how he ended up fighting Chisora. So it's
really
the money.
Who was out of the top 15 of boxing? Like, come on, like what? I don't know why. Why does everybody want to defend Fury and his actions? Like, I'm a Fury fan.
But y'all,
we just explained it, Cam. I mean, money talk, bullshit.
Yeah, it's money talk,
money talk, bullshit with the marathon. But look. If they're able to make Wilder Joshua, I think the division goes from a low point. That's despite all the odds. That is still a significant needle moving fight, Joshua and Wilder. So hopefully that fight gets made. Andy Ruiz has priced himself out of the division at this point. So yeah, we're waiting on Wilder and Joshua at this point to right the ship, so to speak. So hopefully we get that fight. I'll still watch that fight.
Yeah, I mean,
Watch Joshua
a lot
get
of people,
his
a lot
soul
of people
punched out of his
will watch
body.
that. A lot of people will watch that fight, and then I think that the winner of that fight should take on Usyk. I think Wilder's already in that position, and I think that if he does lay out Joshua, that just heightens his profile, and then it makes that fight against Usyk even bigger. So I agree, we shouldn't, and we shouldn't let Tyson's antics and what he's doing hold up the heavyweight division, because it's dedicated.
Yeah.
All
All
right,
right, guys.
All right, I appreciate y'all. Make sure that y'all go to our Instagram. It's spelled out, Pundits of Pugilism. We thank y'all for rocking with us this week, and we will check y'all out next week for another
YouTube channel also.
Yes, sir. Peace out.
Peace.
Peace.